You are listening to the Memoirs of Arthur J. Heisdorf, founder of H&N International. Written by Arthur Heisdorf in 1988, narrated by a vocal artist. Episode 1. A Calling for Genetics Since Childhood.
The main thing to remember in writing history is to tell the truth and not let any damn modesty creep in and spoil the story. And so, I'll tell this story the way I remember it. Since I started H&N, I suppose a few paragraphs about me would be appropriate. I was born December 30th, 1912, which means I'll be 69 in just a few days. My schooling consisted of grade and high school and 4 years at the University of Wisconsin at Madison, where I majored in poultry husbandry and genetics, receiving a BS degree in 1936. During the summer of 1937, I enrolled in the graduate school at Iowa State College, where I studied under that genius, Dr. J.L. Lush, professor of animal breeding, but received no degree. In 1977, largely through the efforts of many long-time influential friends, I received an honorary Doctor of Science degree from the University of Wisconsin. What a surprise that was. I was amazed by the large number of young people in universities these days who don't know what they want to do with their lives. I knew what I wanted to do by the time I was a freshman in high school, which was raise chickens. That was very strange because then we were living in the middle of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, close to the downtown area. At that time, Poultry Tribune and American Poultry Journal were sold in magazine stores, and I devoured those magazines. It seems I was driven to raise chickens because I certainly received no encouragement from my parents or relatives. I had a newspaper route, and with money earned, bought a kerosene incubator from Sears Roebuck and a setting of white Wyandotte eggs from John S. Martin in Port Dover, Ontario. The eggs were 100% fertile, but none hatched. Then I bought 25 white Wyandotte chicks of John S. Martin strain from a hatchery in Mankato, Minnesota. These were brooded with light globes in a corner of my bedroom. I can remember yet the fuss my mother made, but she didn't go so far as to forbid my doing so. As soon as the snow was gone, I got a broody hen and raised them in a small coop outdoors. Those white Wyandottes lasted about 2 years until complaints by neighbors forced me to dispose of them. But my desire to raise chickens continued, resulting in my enrolling at the University of Wisconsin, where Professor James E. Halpin was head of the poultry husbandry department. There, I made some wonderful contacts, which continue today as lifelong friends.
Episode 2. When Two Gifted Minds Cross Paths Again.
After graduating from the University of Wisconsin, I got a job with the Concordia Creamery Company of Concordia, Kansas, which, among other activities, hatched and then sold chicks to farmers and bought back the mature chickens for marketing as dressed meat birds. I was there only a few months when, in October 1936, I received an offer from John Kimber of the Kimber Poultry Breeding Farm in Niles, California, to work for him as a geneticist at $18 a week. Looking back at events, that was very strange since I had not applied for any position, and I had been a no-name student with a straight-A average. Far from it. The only contact I had had with John Kimber was when I wrote him for the use of some of his records for an undergraduate thesis I was writing, a request which he refused in no uncertain terms. Anyway, I jumped at the opportunity to work for John Kimber and proceeded to Niles, California as quickly as possible. My association with John Kimber continued until August 1945. Those 9 years were very important and inspirational to me. I do not think John Kimber gets nearly the appreciation he deserves. He really was a genius. He was autocratic, visionary, a very clear thinker, and got things done. I could tell you many stories about him. Somewhere in my papers, I have a copy of his very first catalog, just a few pages long. Also, I have catalogs of a more ambitious nature which were put out later. One of the most significant things that ever happened to me was the fact that for 3 consecutive summers, Dr. J.L. Lush of Iowa State came out to Kimber Farms as a consultant, which meant I got to know him very well. Imagine having this great man at your fingertips, being able to ask him any question you might have regarding the theoretical aspects of poultry breeding, and have him answer and explain it in detail. I received his 1981 Christmas card yesterday. He must be close to 90 now.
Episode 3: The Pillars of a Thriving and Long-Lasting Business.
In August of 1945, I left Kimber Farms and with my wife Mary started our own poultry breeding farm. This was an old, empty 13-acre poultry farm near Kirkland, Washington. It had capacity of 12,000 layers at 3 square feet, a brooder house, and also had an old 15,000 egg Petersheim incubator. We started out selling Kimber strain leghorns, which we hatched from eggs secured from John Madruga, owner of Norco Poultry Farm in California. These did wonderfully well for our customers against our Northwest competition. One of our principal competitors, believe it or not, advertised that his leghorns, by actual measurement, had longer intestines than other strains and thus could assimilate food better. John Kimber made an exception to his rule of never selling out of the state of California and sold us baby chicks. These were trap nested, selections made, and thus began our poultry breeding program. At the same time, we began importing samples of stock from many of the leading breeders of the country, as well as from Europe and Japan. These we tried in crosses with our Kimber stock, hoping to find a combination which was superior to our pure Kimber. We were lucky because very early we found one that nicked with the Kimber blood. That was the foundation of the H&N Nick Chick Leghorn. In July 1947, 2 brothers, Bert and Cliff Nelson, who also had worked at the Kimber farm, joined us, and we became a partnership and later a corporation known as Heisdorf and Nelson Poultry Breeding Farm. In 1952, we bought out their interests. Cliff went back to California, but Bert remained with H&N for many years. The business again became a sole proprietorship. In 1955, we incorporated as Heisdorf and Nelson Farms, Inc.
Episode 4: The Heterosis and the Franchise Model.
Our H&N Nick Chick Leghorns did very well. By this time, our breeding program had changed from one of pure line breeding to that of reciprocal recurrent selection as a result of information I gathered from the Heterosis Conference at Iowa State College during the period of June 15th to July 20th, 1950. We entered them in random sample egg-laying tests. They ranked so high that hatcheries from across the country began to clamor for our stock. We naturally would not sell them any of our pure lines, so we embarked on a franchised hatchery program, whereby we sold males of one line and female chicks of the other line, so they could produce H&N Nick Chicks too. Our first 2 franchised hatcheries were Washington Breeders Hatchery of Olderwood Manor, Washington. We couldn't begin to sell all the chicks needed in Washington State. And DeVell Poultry Farm and Hatchery in New Jersey. We charged 1 cent a pullet chick hatched as royalty. By 1954, we had 15 franchise hatcheries. In 1950, we acquired a 70-acre farm near Riverside, California, in order to breed chickens to do well under California conditions. In 1951, we started the Riverside Hatchery. Our small office and hatchery on the Kirkland farm were proving to be inadequate, so we had a new office and hatchery constructed in 1952 on the shores of Lake Washington in Houghton, Washington. This initially had a capacity to produce 1 million chicks a year. We really were growing now. In 1952, We also bought the famous 125-acre Hollywood poultry farm in Woodinville, Washington. Today in 1981, we are still living on that farm, but it no longer has any chickens.
Episode 5. Brilliant thinkers surrounded by dazzling minds.
John Kimber once said to me, "Art, the secret of making a success in business is simple. All you have to do is surround yourself with men smarter than yourself. Pay them well, give them a great deal of responsibility, and let them do the work." I was firmly convinced he was right, and as soon as we were financially able to do so, began to build a solid research staff. In 1952, Dr. Cecil McClary, with a PhD in genetics, a research scientist at Western Washington Experiment Station at Puyallup, Washington, was employed as a part-time consultant. In 1957, Dr. Donald Zander of the University of California at Davis, with a PhD in poultry pathology, was employed as Director of Disease Research. In 1958, Dr. McClary began working full-time as Director of Genetic Research. Eventually, we had a staff of 4 PhD geneticists, 2 consulting geneticists, 4 veterinarians, and a PhD physiologist, along with a number of supporting scientists with MS degrees. The financial side was not forgotten. In 1952, O.K. Pike, formerly manager of the Washington Coop Baby Chick Association in Bellingham, Washington, became head of our accounting section. In 1957, Gerald Cruia, a banker from Kirkland, Washington, was employed as general manager. In 1958, William Walkinshaw, formerly of Sales and Bork Inc. in Petaluma, California, joined our company, became California manager, later assistant manager, and eventually head of H&N.
Episode 6. Business milestones.
Expansion came so fast that it is difficult to list all the changes except by single-line explanations. 1958, H&N acquired Sales and Bork Inc. farms and hatcheries of Petaluma and Riverside. 1958, Turlock Hatchery opened. 1958, Warsaw, Indiana Hatchery constructed. 1958, total H&N Leghorns hatched, now up to 44 million chicks, H&N plus franchises. 1958, entered into agreement with Lohmann and Company of Cuxhaven, West Germany, whereby Lohmann and Company becomes exclusive sales distributor for continental Europe and Africa. Breeding farm established in Germany and geneticist Franz Pirschner of Austria employed. 1959, H&N of California Inc. formed, all California hatcheries and sales facilities included. 1961, H&N acquires Menifee Turkey Ranch Inc., Yamhill, Oregon. 1962, breeding farm and testing program started in Japan. 1962, worldwide production now 96 million chicks. 1962, H&N in the UK, breeding farm and testing program started in Ireland. 1963, Granja H&N do Brazil Ltda established. 1964, Griffin, Georgia Hatchery and Farm started. 1964, 500-acre Rainier View Farm at Yelm, Washington purchased. 1965, work begun for new general office in Redmo, Washington. 1965, H&N Brown Egg Layer for overseas sales released. 1966, new general office in Redmond, Washington completed in August. 1966, United Kingdom branch office established at Midlothian, Scotland. 1967, new hatchery was completed in Edinburgh, Scotland. 1968, new hatchery for H&N do Brazil at Sao Paulo. 1970, distribution of H&N's four-way Nick Chick cross was started. 1971, H&N was sold to Pfizer Inc.
After being acquired by a former distributor,
H&N International became an independent global brand again
in 2019, and the rest is history, which is going on and evolving further.
H&N International
Continues to grow the global network of distributors very successfully, as well as driving groundbreaking inventions in digital farming management and layer-targeted nutrition. We are standing on the shoulders of giants, and we believe they would appreciate how their H&N International brand is still going strong. Thank you for listening.